What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to our channel here at Vagabond Builds. And today we're going to be doing a review on a 2023 Land Rover Defender 130. Now guys, we're going to be talking about the exterior, interior, and some specs about the car and the difference that we see in the 130. But before we do, if you do like our content, like the video, subscribe to our channel, really helps us out. You got something for us to film? Here's our email below. Email us, we could talk details later. And it's not a sponsored video. We would love it to be, but it's not. But we also really just want to give a shout out and a thanks to Land Rover and Jaguar here in Rockland, California, right outside Sacramento area. Guys, let's go ahead and start this review. So starting off the review with this engine and some specs about this exact car. Now this engine is one out of two options. It is the MHEV, so pretty much saying the mild hybrid part of that option. Now this comes 395 horsepower with 406 foot-pounds of torque. Now that will vary on the other motor itself. They call this motor the P400. The other one is a P300. You have 8,200 towing capacity. Comes 8-speed automatic transmission with all-wheel drive in a twin-speed transfer box. A little bit about the MPG. 17 city, 21 highway, and 19 combined. Tank capacity is about 19.8 gallons. 0 to 60 in a whopping 7.5 seconds, everybody. Sorry, I'm just tripping over my words today. So guys, this is some specs about this car. Let's go ahead and shut this hood and talk about the front end. Now, you're not gonna get a lot of difference from the 110 over to the 130, other than the increased in length with a little bit of room on that interior side. We're gonna be talking about that later. Front end still looks pretty straight to the point, the same. This is the Carpathian gray, so if anybody wants to know, I know people do ask me about exterior colors, so I'm starting to pay attention to that. Defender stamped in that nice kind of matte silver look with that grille. Land Rover stamped on the driver's side, and that lower area on that bumper cover with that matte flat silver look. You have LED top premium lighting with high beam assist, black gloss trim around. I'm just loving how it keeps it simple, how Land Rover keeps it simple, but also it gives it a rich feel, a lot of character going on. Bumper sensors integrated with fog lights on that lower end. You will have 360 camera around this whole car. Wheel well trim in that plastic. I want you guys to pay attention to that you get that plastic look. It is a high durable plastic that will last over time. On these tires, this is the off-road package. So you will see off-road tires, and you will see different rims on different Defenders, depending on which package you get and all that good stuff. A little bit about the suspension. It is an air ride suspension, dynamic air ride suspension, so it has different levels and things of that sort. Coming over to the side, I just want you guys to kind of get a load of this. This is where you're going to see the difference. The extension in this rear end, everybody. You get an extra 13.4 inches on that rear tush. Now, it does not change the wheelbase. From wheel to wheel, you have the same wheelbase from the 110 over to the 130. Side mirror in that black gloss trim. Fully loaded side mirror, electrical, auto dimmable, heated, and it has approach lighting with the camera integrated. That black trim coming up to the top around the windows. The roof rails are in that black gloss trim, so it's all coming together very nice with that kind of matte gray plastic look down there. Keyless entry on the door handle. Continuing over to the rear end. But before I get to the rear end, I almost forgot to mention this accessory plate here. This is what Land Rover states that we could lean our accessories, maybe like a long box or something against that. Don't lean things that can scratch. It's just gonna look awful, guys. But loving how that nice, beautiful tint glass comes all the way from the front over to the back, makes it look like it's one glass all around. Loving that. You kind of see that level in the colors. Back end, you have the extension, that 13.4 inches increase, giving you that more space in the trunk. Bumper sensors integrated, matte silver on the bumper to match the front end. Loving how Land Rover is bringing it together. Not much has changed according to the lighting, but look at this, Defender First Edition. Now, I want you guys to remember that seeing that these cars are fairly new, or they're coming out on the showroom floors, or people are starting to buy them or pick them up, first editions are the first ones coming out on these cars. Now, guys, if you guys do want to get out and get these, they will be a little bit more rare. I know the rarity sits in that first edition stamp. Let's go ahead and enter, push that button right under that handle. And you open up, of course, we have accessories from the dealership, but let's go ahead and take these out. Set these under the car for now. And you have extra room. They say that you add cubic feet. This is some tire tools here. Get your premium LED lighting on the back end with your hooks for grocery getting if you have that. Loving the color. Look at this color. I just love the color that Land Rover puts in their cars. Let's go ahead and pop these back. Headrest down. Pull these belts towards you and it drops the seating. And look at all this space. This is just third row. You could also drop that second row flat. And look at all this room that you get on this back end. And you can fit so much. Maybe there's just 4 of you guys going up to the mountain or something and you're using this car for a ski trip or a snowboard trip. You guys can toss skis, gear back here and all that. Maybe you could fit a dishwasher, a dryer, whatever. I don't know. But let me tell you guys, let's say you can't lift that heavy dishwasher or dryer. You have the option by these 2 buttons right here to drop that rear end. Check this out. By the push of a button, you hear the air ride, the dynamic air ride suspension drop. And you could even drop it lower. Pick that up. Check that out. And it comes up. Now, right under this bumper, I didn't show you guys with the wheel there because we're gonna have to drop the camera, but you have your camera right over that back license plate. Now that is under the wheel once the tailgate is closed. Towing package is 8,200 pounds, everybody. But let's go ahead and pop these seats back up for the sake of the video when we're talking about the third row seating. Just like that, we're gonna pop these headrests up and close this. And the wheel with the camera. So that's why I didn't show you guys, but very cool. So we're pretty much done with the exterior side of this car and a little bit about the trunk space. Let's go ahead and talk interior. So now let's talk interior of this beautiful car, Land Rover First Edition 130. Before we step inside the car, I just want to pull your guys' attention to something is that door sill plate is stamped First Edition. Remember guys, these are the first ones coming out. We see that dealerships are starting to take them in. Let's go ahead and step inside the car. I just want you guys to pay attention and just breathe. I mean, I keep saying pay attention. I keep emphasizing, but look how nice and simple, minimalist look that this car has, yet off-road but luxury. You have the kind of square look, rectangle look, but with some curves thrown in there. Very nice leather. If anybody wants to know, this is the vintage tan color with slashed ebony color. Wood trim around the interior. We'll be seeing that on door panels, on center consoles and things of that sort. Nice vintage tan leather coming across. Door panel, you have your straight to the point control unit for your side mirrors, your windows, and your memory seating. These are electric seats, heated and ventilated seats with lumbar support, perforated leather. They don't come sporty, full luxury. Look at that. Now you do have a little bit of holster to kind of hold you down, but it's more luxury, not sport. Steering column is electrical. You have your electrical control unit that we see that's a little bit different on the right hand side. On the left hand side of that electrical control steering column is just simply your parking brake. Now a lot of people will throw buttons down here, or a lot of manufacturers, but I love how Land Rover keeps it simple here. Now I like both. I don't have any preference, but it is pretty cool from one perspective that it's just a nice simple left hand side and not much is going on. If the car is off, look how simple it looks. You don't feel like you have a lot of buttons everywhere. Kind of gives you that nice high class tech feel. Let's go ahead and start this car for the sake of the video. Now 11.4 inch front digital cluster with a 10.25 infotainment PV Pro screen. Now full digital with your RPM gauge on the right, miles per hour gauge on the left, letting you know our doors are open with that info card in the middle. Control units here on the right and left for what's going on with voice activation and things of that sort. Black leather stitched with that kind of gray-white plastic feel on that steering wheel. Control rods here for your lights and things of that sort, your windshield wipers and all that good stuff. Pretty simple, straight to the point. Coming over to the infotainment screen, everybody. Now, if you're coming over to Land Rover of Rockland, California, you're gonna come and spend a lot more time than what I'm just showing you in this video. But let's go ahead and push the 4 squares on the bottom left. And I'm gonna show you something with the cameras. You get your 3D view around. It's a very cool option. But you could also throw that into off-road, and it gives you a different view with letting you know if your lockers are locked or unlocked, and towing, also a different view with that. Let's go ahead and push the 4 squares again. Enter navigation. You could do a full screen navigation, which gives it a nice high class look. I love full screen navigations. I just don't know why. I've always been a fan of them. And something that we see in the 130 that we see coming in, and you can control your air quality by the pushing of this button. And look at that. It lets you know how well your air quality, or the purification, the carbon dioxides or the ions inside the car, it lets you know up to hazardous or how good it is. Very cool. Can control climate from here also with the flow, things of that sort. Let's go ahead and go back. Now you get your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto with your Wi-Fi assist and things of that sort inside. You can tow with this, of course. I keep mentioning that. Now coming down under this infotainment screen, you have your control unit to your 4 climate control. Now you can control the 2 climates, passenger and driver. You can sync them, having the same temperature, but we don't have that here. You get hill decline assist. You can increase that rear end length off the floor by the push of these buttons. Traction control, control of your fans. You can control the modes from your car. Check this out. And you will get a different look, and it'll ask you, do you want to enter that mode? We're going to put no. Look at this. We'll push that button again. And you get snow, things of that sort, desert, whatever you're doing, a little bit more watery. Parking cameras on the right-hand side of that screen too. Now there's a lot going on. You can control by manual buttons, come back to the air quality view and things of that sort, AC and all that. Right under that is USB-C, USB-A plug-in with the 12-volt plug-in, and some more personal cubby space. So for your change, I don't know, your chapsticks and things like that. Right behind, you get more room. Loving the room that you get. Maybe you want to hide a Kit Kat bar from your kids or something. I don't know, a Twix. I have no idea why you would put something back here, but you do have that option too. More personal space, the fender stamped right in front of that passenger. Now coming over to my handrest, a pretty cool option that Land Rover offers in their cars is a cubby that turns into a refrigerator. Check this out. By the pushing of that button, you get the blue lights on that button, and you get that nice LED bar going across that refrigerator. So if you want to keep some candy cool, some chocolate, some drinks, whatever, you're going to be snacking on a long road trip, this is a super cool option to have on these cars. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think a lot of manufacturers think about that. Wireless charging pad for your phone right here, very convenient. A lot of times you'll be seeing some weird spots like down here or inside, more towards the center or lower center of the dash. And some more cubby room. Again, up top here, full panoramic glass that stretches out over to the second row. Now that's a freaking cool option to have, everybody, because that second row gets the same feel that that first row. You can control that visor electrically, and you can open up that glass. Let's check this out. Look how big it is. I'm just in love with this moonroof. I've always been a fan of moonroofs. The airflow in the moonroofs kind of just coming in and just kind of feeling like you got that fresh air from outside in. Now up top here, live mirror from the back camera, and you can go back into manual mode. You can control that camera from the 3 buttons right under the right hand side of that mirror. Brightness and the up and down side of that camera. Let's go ahead and shut that down for the sake of the video. So we're pretty much done with the front side of this interior. Let's go ahead and talk second row. So now talking second row of this 130 Defender. Now, one thing I want to pull your guys' attention first is we do not see a simplified seating, meaning the seats coming in from the front look like the second row and look like the third row. A lot of manufacturers will simplify that third row or maybe even the second row, but not Land Rover. They keep that same rich, minimalist, same color, perforated leather feel and look. To control these seats, you have 3 locations where you can pretty much control them. From the rod up here, manually, you will move that up and back. You can drop this back rest, pick that up, and you can bunny hop this seat forward by the lifting of the lever near your right and left shoulder. So you can get over to the 3rd row seating. Let's go ahead and do a space test. Now I'm about 6 feet 2 inches. And I have a whole lot of leg room. Remember, 13.4 inches increase to the cabin room. So you're getting a lot more leg room. You're not getting headrest with regards to the head clearance with regards to the 13.4 inches. But I'm not even gonna talk head clearance because goodness, look at all this head clearance. I am not gonna be touching this ceiling. Leg room, beautiful. Personal space here behind the seats. Straight to the point armrest with your cup holders. And some pretty cool option trinkets for like your dress shirts or if you want to attach things. Door panels look the same coming in from the front over to the back. They don't simplify them. I love when manufacturers do that. Land Rover, shout out to you because you kept that same rich minimalist look. Meridian sound system. I forgot to mention that up in the front. Meridian sound system, premium sound. So if you do love your music, you love your beat, maybe you're at the drive-in theaters and you're doing that, this is a great car to have. Even when you're tailgating. Stepping outside, popping this seat forward. Let's go ahead and shoot this over. Come in, and I'm gonna pop this seat forward so you guys can get a good look. Now, I'm gonna drop this seat all the way back, and look at this leg room. I mean, you know, they call these, I believe, the stadium 3rd row seating, where I'm 6 feet 2 inches, and a lot of times you'll get in a 3rd row, and you will feel cooped up and claustrophobic, but not here because look at all this. Now, you're gonna throw maybe kids or smaller people back here, not as tall as I do, but that is the super cool thing that we see with the extension of this cab with a 13.4 inch extension that you're adding to that leg room. Very cool. They say that you also get that increased shoulder length on being that bigger body 130. Heated seats on the 3rd row. Now remember, you get the heated seats also on the 2nd row by the controls on the back center console. Cup holders and some personal pocket space. You can control the airflow in the vents back here on the right and the left. So guys, we're pretty much done, but before we finish, manual visor for that top panoramic full glass that the 3rd row also gets in touch with the outside, so they're feeling less claustrophobic back here. Very cool feel. So now we're completely done. And guys, thank you so much for watching our channel here at Vagabond Builds. If you have any comment, questions, concerns, leave in the comment section below. We really appreciate your guys' feedback. Stay tuned. We got some pretty cool things coming.